Hi, this is Andy Katz, host of March Madness 365, presented by Grammarly. This week on the podcast, listen as we dive deep into the bracket as it stands and give our predictions moving forward. Listen to March Madness 365 with Andy Katz, presented by Grammarly, wherever you get your podcasts. Grammarly is a secure AI writing partner that gives your team an instant first draft in a few clicks, not a few hours. Companies that use Grammarly save an average of 19 days per employee per year. Grammarly works seamlessly across 500,000 apps and websites. Get personalized on-brand writing help everywhere your team works. Learn what better writing can do for your company at Grammarly.com. Grammarly. Easier said, done.
You think that he was trying to tell you, like, get out of the left lane?
I felt like
playing chicken with you, like he knew that he was getting close to you. That's what I'm asking.
Absolutely, I believe road rage went wrong.
This is the plaintiff, Ihab. He says he was driving out to dinner one night when the tailgating and impatient defendant slammed him from behind, causing extensive damage to his Mercedes. He and his passenger were beaten up by the impact. He has medical bills as well as damage to his car, and the young, obnoxious defendants must pay for their misdeeds. He's suing for $5,000, the amount he's out. These are the defendants Melissa Cruz and Forrest A.G. Forrest says the plaintiff jammed on his brakes out of the clear blue sky, causing him to hit the car he was driving. The plaintiff told the cops he was drunk, which he wasn't, told the cops he was going 70 miles an hour, which he wasn't, and this whole accident's due to the plaintiff braking for no reason. In fact, they think this was an intentional attempt at causing an accident. They're accused of ramming a guy in the rear. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $2,300, the cost to fix their front bumper.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
Welcome out.
All right, you've asked us not to use your last name. Ihab and Olga, you have power of attorney for your wife, Olga?
Correct.
All right. You are suing Melissa Cruz and Forrest Agee for $5,000. According to you, you're out $20,000 based on negligence that you say
driving.
And the way he drove. All right. And you have a counterclaim against him for $2,300 to fix your front bumper because you say the accident was his fault. Let me hear from you first. Is it Ihab or?
Ihab.
Ihab, let me hear from you.
Was Friday, August 14, right a little bit before 7. We had dinner plans, me and my wife, with some friends. I got out of my subdivision, crossover, going north on the road.
What?
On State Road 13.
Okay.
And I stayed on the same lane for about a mile and a half.
How many lanes each way on this road?
There are 3.
Each way? So there's 6 lanes? It's a 6-lane highway?
Correct.
Okay, go ahead.
And then I noticed, look in the rear view mirror, I see a truck coming very fast against me. And the last minute he pulls a brake. And I was like, I look in the rear view mirror. I thought he was not paying attention, but again, it happened again, and the third time.
What do you think that he was trying to tell you, like, get out of the left lane?
I felt like
playing chicken with you, like he knew that he was getting close to you. That's what I'm asking.
Absolutely, I believe road rage went wrong, and the third time he could not pull the brake fast enough, and he caused the accident. And that was
Would you tap your brakes to show him who's boss?
Actually, we were approaching the red light. So all the cars were slowing down. And in the process, I was slowing down as well. And I was like, I saw it coming and I...
Did you hit the car in front of you?
No, I didn't. No.
How many cars were in front of you at the red light?
Quite enough. Plenty.
How many? Like more or less, 20
About
or
15,
2?
15 at least.
So how far were you from the red light?
According to the police report, it was 0.1 mile away from the
Okay, let me see the police report. How do you say it happened? Were you in the car with him? Okay.
No, ma'am.
What is your relationship to him?
He was raised as my adopted brother, and
Okay.
I co-signed on the vehicle for him.
Ah, that'll show you. All right. Okay. So, what happened?
I was driving with my girlfriend, who's not here today because she couldn't get off work. But anyway, I was driving north on State Road 13, obviously heading towards Interstate 295, and he come out ahead of me like I was, at 45, and he come out ahead of time. Anyway, got in front of me and was riding, and like we was just trucking along, and police report says 0.1 mile, but I thought we were more like a half mile from the red light. But either way, he had plenty of time to keep going, like as far as clearance in front of him.
So let me see if I've got this straight, gentlemen. He pulls out in front of you, which you feel was disrespectful. So now you're getting awful close to him. And then pulling back, getting close to him, pulling back. And then he decides to show you who's boss and hits the brakes, and then an accident happens.
No, I wasn't really riding his bumper too much. I mean, I was behind him.
Well, according to you, he cut right in front of you.
He did, but this happened.
But
a
that
mile
didn't
apart.
bother you.
When he got on the interstate, it did. But when he got on State Road 13, I mean, that's when he cut me off. But that's not when I hit him, And then a mile down the road, I was staying behind him. I wasn't getting on his tail.
Really?
Really?
Because I've seen this so many times.
Yeah. But anyway.
So, yeah, but I don't know why you're nodding, because really, I've also seen the guy who you are playing right now tap the brakes,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So, really, it's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty.
Yeah, so anyway, he ended up stopping, and I didn't stop in time. But I mean, I got pictures where
That's a problem with traveling so close.
just to show that I was alert.
Oh, you were alert?
Yeah.
Okay,
But,
so this is what you do when you were alert. You hit the car in front of you when you were alert?
No, listen, I just didn't have time to stop. I mean, because I would have got rear-ended if I would have hit the brakes any harder.
Oh, that's what it is. It's about the guy behind you.
Well, I mean, hey, you got to look everywhere when you drive.
Do you?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You know that now. Come on, Jim.
Can I just tell you something? It's kind of funny till it's not, right? Because she doesn't think it's all that funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And you like her?
I do.
Right.
I love
Well,
her.
you're causing her a bunch of grief. And did you have insurance on the car?
I did not.
Did you know that?
No, ma'am.
That's like really bad.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, it is. And why didn't you have insurance?
No good reason, I don't guess, but because this is going to sound real bad, but I was used to kind of being about 3 or 4 days late with my monthly insurance payment. Mm-hmm. And they won't cancel you. But when it's your renewal, if you don't pay it
you're
that
playing
day,
fast and loose
If you don't-
with a
if you don't
car
pay-
that is co-signed by somebody other than you.
Yeah.
You're playing fast and loose with that, my friend. So it didn't work out so well, right?
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, maybe you should just be on time on the
Well, see,
payment.
now I got it on EFT.
What was it like when the two of you, when he hit you and you both got out of your cars, what was that little moment like? I would like to be a fly on that interstate. What?
I was
actually
really
stayed
mad.
with my car.
Wait. Go
I
ahead.
was really mad because I was concerned about my wife.
Your wife was in the car with you. Where's your wife now?
She couldn't take off work, and plus they didn't
She
tell
didn't
me
want
to
to be
bring
here.
her. She
Sorry,
really-
I don't take offense.
No, she wanted to be here, but
Okay, so go ahead.
she was actually had a slight concussion, and I was concerned for her. I got out of the car, and the first thing I told him, "Are you drunk or something?" Because I didn't know it was kind of road rage.
Right.
And
what did he say to you?
He said no, and his girlfriend was very close, sitting on his lap, almost. So he was totally like showing off in front of her, being that big man or whatever.
Was he polite?
No, he wasn't. He didn't say anything. He didn't say sorry or nothing. All he said, I cut him off. Which is,
Oh, he said to you, "You cut me off."
He said, I cut him off, and he had no.
Well, you might have cut him off. It's just that, so what?
I didn't, man.
See that you have to learn. How old are you? 21?
21.
Okay, you need to learn this and learn this fast. So what? So what? You know, people. You were from Florida, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so am I. You know, people kill people.
Yeah, but I didn't hit him on
the
purpose
listen
because
up.
he cut me
Listen
off,
up.
though.
Listen up.
Yes,
Stop
ma'am.
talking. Start listening.
Yes, ma'am.
I know darn well that he cut you off and that made you mad and that's why you were tailing him. And that didn't work out well because you're going to now pay for the damages to his car because the law is that you have to be a sufficient amount behind. Okay? Now, after this happens, you receive a lawyer letter, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about that.
I received them. He wasn't around. And he sent 3 copies of the same letter. But then when you start looking at the letter, like the logo doesn't look right. It doesn't look professional. And then it says my vehicle and things like that.
Let me
in
see the letter. What's this?
I went to see a lawyer, and he took our case. At that point, we didn't know he didn't have insurance. Even the lawyer didn't know he had insurance. So
Who
he
wrote
said,
this letter?
It's him.
Okay. Because it's a little peculiar because it says, I have enclosed a copy of an estimate for the damages to my vehicle. No lawyer writes that. Did you write this?
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here in front of the TMZ Hollywood tour bus. The question, should this guy get money for the car if he was also involved in road rage?
Absolutely not. The guy should have never slammed on his brakes.
Okay, but the guy from behind should have been far enough behind, right?
That's correct, but they were both at fault because they're both playing games.
So you don't give him any money?
I mean,
Yes or no? Think about it, get back to me, okay? Going inside the courtroom.
Did you take the top of the lawyer letter and
No, ma'am.
put it together?
What happened is that he was supposed to handle the medical part, but he told me, I'll help you with the car issue. This is something you have to do on your own, but I'll help you with the letter.
Did you ever call the law office?
Yes, ma'am, I did. And he told me that he met with Mr. Ehab, but he did not write the letter.
He said he did not write the letter.
Yes, ma'am. And I have a text message where Mr. Ehab sent me and said that it was an email that the lawyer sent him, and he just printed out the email.
What's that?
If I wrote the letter, why would I put his phone number in there? Why
don't
would I
know.
say call me or call my
Why
client?
does it say,
Contact
I have
Ehab
enclosed
directly.
an estimate for the damages to my vehicle?
Why would I put his name in there?
I don't
if
know.
he
You know
doesn't-
what?
if he's
I'm going
not
to take a
aware of
recess
it?
because I think I want to speak to the lawyer. Anybody have a problem with that? Me speaking to the lawyer?
No. He
And finding
emailed-
out if he authored this letter?
He emailed it to me, and I printed out and I sent it to them.
Okay, now show me. That's different from he sent the letter. Now, because you know that's different from he sent the letter, right?
Well, he told me, go ahead and send that.
Show me his email.
I don't have the phone on me.
Why did you say no when I asked you? I don't trust you now. You understand that? And if I don't trust you and I'm smelling a situation where I think that you're both playing quien es más macho out on the road to the peril of all of the rest of us, then maybe you got a little bit of responsibility in this thing too.
No, ma'am. What I meant is I did not.
Why are you suing for $8,700 for a car that is worth $1,096 in the Blue Book value?
Ma'am, is the value of the car is right here,
Yeah, let's see what
and
you looked
the
at for the value of the
estimates
car.
are right here.
Tell me about the medical damages. You're asking for $10,000. Obviously, that's beyond the statutory cap.
Right.
But according to you, you're asking for $10,000 in pain and suffering, but not for you, for your wife?
For both of us.
For both of you. Tell me about the pain and suffering.
Well, I have all the records here.
Right, but tell me about it. Because the records won't show me suffering. The records, I see that your wife went to 2 weeks of physical therapy.
Both of us.
You both went to 2 weeks of physical therapy. What kind of physical therapy? For what?
For the concussion she had and the headache and the pain in the shoulder and the neck.
Okay. And did you see a doctor?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see a lawyer? Okay. Did you leave in an ambulance?
Our friend drove us to the emergency room.
And do you have the records from the emergency room?
I didn't. I thought this is in there.
No.
With State Farm.
No, it has nothing to do with State Farm. State Farm is an insurance company. I wanted medical records because you're suing for 10 grand in pain and suffering, and I'd like to see something other than 2 weeks of therapy for you and your wife after you see a lawyer. I'd like to see actual medical records from that day. The fact that you went to a hospital that day is important to me. So I want to see what it is that you two told the doctor that day and what the doctor wrote down about that day. I want to see that. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to total out the car. When you total out the car, you do not get car rental to repair it. The value of your car I am assessing at $8,000. In addition, you have medical bills, which are $1,478, so we're adding that, and that's $9,478 in total damages. I find you 60% liable, I find you 40% liable, and even at that, it still goes above the statutory maximum. You got to pay, all right? So net judgment in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the $5,000.
Even at a 60-40 liability for the plaintiff over the defendant, it's still the maximum that he collects against you. And what's your reaction coming out of the courtroom?
Well, I mean, really, I had plenty of time to stop under normal circumstances. You know, the 3-second rule.
You were ticked off that he cut you off, right?
Well, I mean, I wasn't happy about that, but I definitely wasn't riding his bumper.
Chased him
like
a
they're
little bit.
making out at. No, definitely not. I mean, he locked up the brakes.
Judge says you should say "so what" a little bit sometimes. So
Yeah,
what, right?
yeah.
Or but anyway, as you say it. But
anyway.
Yeah. All right. Around the corner this
Y'all
way.
have a good one, man.
Right. All right, sir. So step on in here, and what's your feeling on this outcome here?
I believe that I don't have any 40% responsibility, as the judge said.
Well, if you hit the brakes unnecessarily, you're somewhat responsible.
That's his word. But I was slowing down because the traffic light was red.
All right, over to Harvey.
Okay, Kurt, in case it wasn't obvious, the plaintiff had 40% responsibility here because the judge decided he was 40% at fault because of the road rage. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Hi, this is Andy Katz, host of March Madness 365, presented by Grammarly. This week on the podcast, listen as we dive deep into the bracket as it stands and give our predictions moving forward. Listen to March Madness 365 with Andy Katz, presented by Grammarly, wherever you get your podcasts. Grammarly is a secure AI writing partner that gives your team an instant first draft in a few clicks, not a few hours. Companies that use Grammarly save an average of 19 days per employee per year. Grammarly works seamlessly across 500,000 apps and websites. Get personalized on-brand writing help everywhere your team works. Learn what better writing can do for your company at Grammarly.com. Grammarly. Easier said, done.
This is the plaintiff, Yolanda Wilkins. She says the defendant refuses to give her security back even though she wasn't her landlord when she moved in. She has no idea what kind of shape the place was in when she moved in, has no right keeping her money because she left the place as she found it, and is suing her here and now for the $2,200 she's owed. This is the defendant, Terry Reynolds. She says she's had nothing but problems with the plaintiff since she moved in. Did everything in her power to annoy her. And this lawsuit is funny because if anyone in this courtroom's owed money, it's certainly not the plaintiff. She's accused of lackadaisical landlording. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $3,905 for additional repairs needed.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff cannot believe her landlord is stealing her security deposit. But the defendant says the plaintiff is a gigantic pain in the butt. It's the case of you make me so insecure.
Thank you, Douglas. Yolanda Wilkins, you are suing Terry Reynolds for $2,200, double your security deposit that you believe she is wrongfully withholding. You have a counterclaim against her for $3,905 for damages plus pain and suffering. Okay. Tell me what happened.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I moved into the residence about in May of 2010. And towards the end of 2012, I moved into the residence under a previous landlord.
Okay.
And in 2012, the house was bought by Ms. Reynolds. August 4th in 2015, I gave her a 30-day notice with August rent, a check for August rent. On September 2nd, the apartment was cleaned and emptied. I had left already. September 30th, I received a text message from Ms. Reynolds stating that I would not be receiving my security deposit due to damages made to the property.
Okay. Did she tell you what those were?
Not right away.
Okay.
I texted her back and told her I was going to dispute it and send me an itemized security deposit deduction, a list of things that was wrong, and receipts. And maybe like 2 weeks later, matter of fact, October 14th or something like that, she sent me the list. But I had already filed in small claims court.
All right. Do you have what she mailed you?
Yes.
All right. Ms. Reynolds, what happened?
Okay, she was a tenant of the apartment when we bought the house. And she pretty much had control over the house before we purchased it. We were her neighbor, and then I became her landlord. That didn't sit very well with her. And it's like from that point on, everything we asked her, she would do just the opposite. Simple things.
This is
like,
a two-family house. Did
Yes.
you live in the other side of it?
Next door.
Okay.
Yes. And everything we would ask of her, she would be defiant. She stressed that she was moving out. And when she found we bought the house, she was leaving.
So according to you, you don't give her the security deposit, not because of the animosity, but because she damaged the place. Tell me how she damaged the place.
Okay, I can show you.
Yep.
This is the foam. This is the foam picture of where she put the foam around the radiator. Every heating system, every heating pipe in the house, she put foam insulating around the heating pipes.
What was the purpose of the foam?
She was afraid of mice, so she took it upon herself to install this foam.
Is it the spray kind?
It's the phone was put there with the previous landlord, and he knew about it.
What does with the previous landlord mean? Did you put it with his permission? Is that
Yes,
what you're
he
saying?
knew about it.
Is this all this foam hidden in hidden spots or no?
Yes.
Okay, so if you had done a walkthrough, you wouldn't have seen any of it. So how did you find it?
After she moved out, as we were painting, we discovered it.
How? Because you removed the radiator?
There's no way we could see those things, Your Honor, without the house being empty. Things that were hidden inside the closets, behind the stove, behind the refrigerator.
What is this area here? The one you just told my bailiff to
That's the
show
wall
me?
behind the stove, the gas line.
The stove. Wow,
That's
these
the
are
wall
really
that had to
good
be removed.
pictures. What is that?
That's the old heating system that was in the wall that she filled it with foam. We had to remove that, cut the wall out and remove it.
What used to be here?
That's where the refrigerator was. That was hidden behind the refrigerator.
Okay, so you pulled the refrigerator out?
Yes.
Okay, and then you see that.
And Your Honor, if you look closely, you'll see on the part where the refrigerator was, the foam is dark right there in the corner.
Yeah.
That's where the foam was burning from the heat.
Have you been in contact with the person you bought it from?
Yes.
Did you ask them about this?
Yeah, of course I did.
Do you have anything in writing from them?
No, I don't.
That would be good,
But he
right?
said no way he would allow anybody to do anything. He had just put a lot of money in the house, renovating the house, Your Honor. That's why we wanted it, because we walked through the house
Do you have the
several
number
times.
for that prior landlord?
Yes, I do.
Call him up right now.
We walked through the house several times before we purchased the house. And Your Honor, the stuff that's burnt, it was burnt on every single heating system. Every heating system, we had to go, after we moved it from the surface, we
When
had
you're
to
talking about heating systems, you're talking about the radiators?
the radiators, yes.
Right,
We had to
because
go inside the walls and remove everything out of there. This is what we had to remove.
And the windowsills are because somebody cut the
Cut the
windowsill in
window,
order to be able to
yes.
put furniture in there?
Yes.
Wow.
Who did that?
Could you please look at the
I will,
Okay,
but
I'm
first
sorry.
can you answer what I just asked? Who cut the windowsill in order?
Nobody cut no windowsill.
Well, there's a windowsill that's cut.
It was, that windowsill was like that when I moved in the house. Those ledges are like that.
What did you want to show me?
The video of the house when I left.
Okay. Do you have anything in writing from that landlord that says that you had authority to do all
Let me
this?
call him.
I didn't think I was going to be here today.
Well, you know you'll be here today because you filed a lawsuit.
No, I didn't think I would have to go get a letter from him back then.
Well, you know that she says that she's keeping it because of all the foam. That happened months ago, so why wouldn't you think that that would be an issue if that's your defense? There's the windowsill that...
Yeah, that was like that.
And I'm calling him now.
This is good. Every tenant should do this when they move out. Every tenant needs to but you also should do it when you move in, too.
Yes.
So you don't get blamed for anything. And when you move in, you're actually going to zoom in on everything that you think is wrong
Hello,
with it.
Mr.
That way you
Effman?
don't get blamed for it.
Yes,
Hi, this is Terry Reynolds. How are you? From Jersey City.
good, good.
I'm in-
How do things work?
I'm in court now, and the judge would like to speak to you. Hold on a second, please.
Okay.
Just a little. Hi, it's Mr. Effman, is it?
That's correct.
How are you today, sir? This is Judge Marilyn Milian from the People's Court.
How are you, Judge?
Very good, thank you. So I just have a very specific question about the property that Ms. Reynolds bought from you.
Yes.
The subject of the dispute is a lot of foam spray that was in around a lot of different holes, ostensibly put there in order to make sure that mice didn't come in. The question is, did you authorize that?
Well, I did.
You did.
At one time, before we got an exterminator,
Thank you, Jesus.
she had heard mice on the roof or something. And I think that I gave her permission. She wanted to know if she can stuff up the holes. I gave her permission to do it.
Thank you, Jesus.
Okay.
I never saw it, but
Okay. And then the other question I have for you is, do you remember on the windowsills of that place, were there windowsills that were kind of sawed through?
I really don't remember. I don't remember.
Did you rent it to her with windowsills that were sawed through in order to fit furniture?
Oh, I have no idea. I know we redid the entire building before. She was the first tenant since we redid the building.
Okay, so I would imagine if you redid the building, you did not have sawed through okay, gotcha. Anybody have another question they want to ask him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ask him, who did she say she was going to have do it? She gave him the
when you
impression-
gave her authority to plug it, was there any requirement that it be done by anybody specifically, or you were just giving her authority?
No, she was doing it. She was taking care of it. She was going to do it herself.
She was going to do it herself. All right, did you ever take a look at what she did?
No, I did not.
Okay, all right. Thank you. This has been very, very helpful, Mr. Effman.
Okay.
You have a great day.
Thank you, Judge.
Okie doke. Bye-bye. Oh, well, that didn't go well for you at all, did it?
Okay, now, who annoys who more, landlords or tenants?
I'd say the landlords.
Why is that?
They're always bugging you for money.
Well, it's called rent. What do you think? I mean, real talk. Who annoys who more?
Honestly, it would be the tenant, because if something breaks down, you're going to go straight to your landlord and you're going to annoy them until it gets fixed.
Or it's not even really a problem, but they want to blame it and complain.
Basically, anything that could possibly be a nuisance to the tenant, they're going to complain to their landlord.
Okie doke. Going inside the courtroom.
She charged him to do this.
Charge who to do?
She charged the landlord to do this.
What is that? What does that? I don't know what you're saying, but assuming I did, what would that have to do with it? If she has
had him
permission
thinking
to
it was
do
done professionally.
something, how can you then sue for taking the thing down that she had permission to do, or any of the ancillary damages that come from taking the thing down? You can't. She had permission to do it.
Okay.
She had permission to do it. There's nothing you can do.
Okay.
All right.
All right. He told
All
me.
right. So it's an $1,100 security deposit. Is that correct?
Yes.
Of the $1,100, I find that you're entitled to keep the $75 for the windowsills, plus I'm going to estimate, $50 for painting the windowsills, because you actually didn't even mention that, but that's probably because you were including it in the other stuff, which is $125. So of the $1,100, I find that only $125 was appropriately withheld, and because of the law in your state that says that if you don't itemize in 30 days, then anything that was wrongfully withheld is doubled, that $975 becomes $1,950. And that's my verdict. I don't have a choice. My hands are tied. That's my verdict, $1,950. Verdict for the plaintiff, net judgment for the plaintiff on the counterclaim, 0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Milian rules that the landlord unjustly withheld security from this tenant. What's your reaction to this?
I don't have any. I'm just glad it's over and done with.
You understand the law about having to send an itemized letter to the tenant within 30 days explaining why you're withholding rent?
Yes, I do.
I mean, security. How come you didn't do that?
The damages were still being assessed. The
Okay.
further we went, the more damage we found.
And no pain and suffering.
That's okay.
All right. Head right around this way.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so what's your thought coming out here?
Just happy I won, even though I didn't do it to the window ledges, but that's fine. I got majority of my money back. Justice was served.
You knew about the double
Yes, I knew.
law?
Yes.
How'd you know that?
I did my research.
What's it like living with mice running all over the
I
place?
don't know, terrible. That's why I left.
What's it like when you see one?
I don't look at them. I just run.
You hear them?
Yeah.
What do they sound like?
Like a mouse.
Harvey? Okay, Kurt, in this case, the landlord had to pay twice the actual damages that were withheld. There are some states where actually 3 times the actual amount gets withheld, so you should check the state. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, David Heber. He says he hired the defendant's company to inspect a house he was purchasing, and they gave him a report stating the pipes in the house were all up to code. Well, he discovered they were in fact not up to code when he sprung a leak, and the plumber informed him he had a big problem. He was forced to upgrade all the pipes. The defendant made a mistake, and he is the one who has to pay to fix it. He's suing for $3,125, the cost of the new pipes and installation. This is the defendant, Mitchell. He says he owns the largest home inspection company, has done over 35,000 inspections, and his team gave the plaintiff a detailed report stating all the problems with the house. He thinks a rogue plumber ripped him off and is now attempting to pass the blame onto him. Good try. He's accused of overlooking a problem.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff hired the defendant's company to inspect the house he was buying and says the guy overlooked some plumbing problems. But the defendant says he's done tens of thousands of inspections, so the guy's off base. It's the case of Suck It to Me.
Thank you, Douglas. Mr. Heber, you are suing, let's see, you want to be referred to only as Mitchell and not use the name of the business.
Correct.
Okay, you are suing Mitchell's business. You are the owner of the inspection company for $3,125 that you had to pay plumbers to repair something that you feel they should have warned you about before you bought the house.
Correct.
All right, so you bought a new house, and this was where?
In Gibsonton, Florida.
Okay, and then you hired him to do what?
Perform a pre-closing building inspection,
Okay.
which is kind of standard practice.
Before you buy a house.
To find out if there were any defects or any necessary repairs before I closed on the house.
And what happened?
I received a contract, and one of the clauses in there requires me to waive liability for several items, including negligence, professional malpractice, and any other tort except gross negligence. And I want to highlight that word, gross negligence.
Do you know what the difference between negligence and gross negligence is?
I certainly do.
Okay, what do you think it is?
Word negligence is just a mistake, an accident, whereas gross negligence, it's almost willful and intentional.
Okay, what do you think that they did or failed to do that was willful and intentional?
In the inspection report, they described the water lines as being CPVC, which is a solid fiberglass pipe. So on that basis,
and what happened?
Well, what happened on the 2nd of October, I found...
you closed when?
I closed on the 23rd of September
what?
and moved
September,
in.
okay.
Okay.
And the 2nd of October,
2nd
what happened?
October, I heard some water running, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from because I was not running any water. So I shut the whole system down, called my plumber. He showed up the next morning, crawled into the crawl space, and...
Crawl space where?
Underneath the house.
Okay.
Well, the plumber went into the crawl space, and within 30 seconds, he said, I found the problem. He said, the entire incoming water line is not your CPVC, it's PCP Flex.
And why is that a problem?
It's nothing more than a reinforced water hose. It's labeled not to be used under any pressure system, and city pressures run anywhere from 55 to 94 PSI, but there was no sudden trauma to it. It just simply gave way to the pressure.
Is that where the leak was coming
That's
from?
where the leak was.
Okay, so what did he do wrong? You're suing him for so the plumber suggested you replace all the plumbing?
Yes, because the entire incoming water line was with this flex pipe.
Okay, and that cost you $3,125 when?
October 3, 5.
When did you first contact the defendant and tell him you felt like they missed something?
That was in February of
Why
2000.
did you spend why did it pass from October 3rd to February before you contacted them to say this is your fault, you missed it?
Because I was preoccupied with getting myself settled in the house.
Did they ever say anything? Do you have the report?
I have the report.
May I see the report they gave you? And did they ever say anything about the incoming water line?
No.
Okay, so he replaced all the plumbing to the tune of $3,125, and he thinks that you should pay for it. Let me hear from you.
Well, let's back up 1 second, if we may. A week before we performed this inspection, we sent a home inspection contract agreement for the plaintiff to sign. We performed the inspection a week later. One of the things that we do not do is we do not test sample piping. The piping that was visible from our inspection was CPVC. Now, is it possible that there was some additional piping underneath the house that we didn't have access to? It is possible. However, our contract clearly states that we need to have a phone call or some contact if there's a problem so we can take a look at the problem before he cures or makes those repairs, because we would go out there and take a look at his concerns. That's the reason why we have a contract.
Okay, one of the things I'm looking at in the report is plumbing. Visible water supply lines throughout the home were CPVC. Where do you see the supply lines throughout the home, if not then underneath the house? You're looking where? I don't know.
If I may submit an additional report, I have some
Yeah.
additional pictures. This is an insurance inspection done by another one of our inspectors. And if you take a look at the highlighted yellow, you'll see actually right coming up from the water heater, you'll see that it's the typical CPVC piping.
Okay.
Now, our inspection is not a code inspection. And by the way, we found thousands of dollars of damage in this house. Structural damage, roofing, electrical, heating and air conditioning. It's all listed very clearly, highlighted, and
in fact, and of course, that's the reason that a homeowner hires you, is that they want to know what's wrong with the house and they want a chance to renegotiate the price with the seller based on the things that you now discovered are wrong with the house. And you feel that had he spotted this beforehand, that you would have had a chance to negotiate the purchase price better.
Which is exactly what I did with the roofing when
he did spot.
Yes, that they did spot.
So my question to you is, in the report it says there was a leak at the bathroom under the home. What does that mean?
So is the defendant off the hook? What do you think? Going over there.
Yes.
Why?
Because in the contract it states, what needs to be fixed, and if you...
So he just didn't do it?
Right.
Off the hook?
Yes, I think you should have read the contract before. Even though it's broken down, it's unfortunate, but yes.
Tough luck.
Yeah.
Okay. Going inside the courtroom.
the piping was leaking underneath the home that we saw from our
So then you guys did get in that crawl space.
Well, yes, and we saw an obvious leak. Now, that leak was never addressed.
Where is the person taken? Is this the underneath of the home?
Yes, ma'am.
And this picture is taken how? The cameraman is where? Underneath the house?
On the exterior using a telephoto. It's very obvious it was leaking.
Underneath the house, though?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Is everything I'm looking at there CPVC?
Yes.
When they wrote in the report to you, there's a leak in the bathroom under the home. What did you do about the leak that was under the home that they spotted for you?
Well, I had the plumber make that repair.
That's in October 3rd?
Yes.
Yeah, but no, before you closed on the house, the report that you paid $400 and something for in order to be able to renegotiate the price and know what's wrong with the house specifically says there was a leak in the bathroom under the home and shows a picture.
I understand that.
Right, so what did you do about that? You didn't negotiate the price based on that?
No.
And you didn't further inspect the plumbing based on that?
No.
Okay. Also, the contract that you signed with him says that you have, where is that? Client shall provide written notice of any unreported defect or deficiency or any other claim within 10 business days after discovery. Client shall not commence any legal proceeding for 30 days after receipt of notice of the claim, during which time client shall provide reasonable access, an opportunity to investigate, and an opportunity to cure, none of which happened.
Yes.
Yeah, you just come to them 5 months later and say, by the way, that repair I did 5 months ago, I think y'all should pay for it. And how is that according to your contract?
Well, I think that the contract can be considered void and null.
Really?
Yes, because
on account of what?
Well,
only mere mortals have to stick by the contracts, not you.
Because of the gross negligence on the part of
How's it gross negligence? How is it gross negligence? Do you understand what gross negligence is? Gross negligence is I'm riding through the streets and I start going like this and playing chicken with cars. That's gross negligence. This is, you're mad that the inspectors didn't catch that there was a pipe that is no longer up to code, right? Because this is no longer up to code.
Your Honor, this is what should have been installed.
Yes, that's lovely. And yes, you should have bought a house that had that installed. But for him to have to pay you $3,000, I have to see that he violated something in the contract that you have with him. So why don't I hold you to this contract?
Well, there's some other photographs, and it's obvious that somebody had to be crawling under there. And as far as visibility,
I'm done with visibility. I agree with you. I agree with you on visibility. They were down there.
Okay.
I agree with you on visibility. I agree that if they're down there, if you're going to do it right. That's it. If you're going to do it, don't lull me into a false sense of security that you did it right, you looked at everything and everything else. The real problem I have is your contract and the condition precedent that you notify them. Give them a chance to cure. Give them a chance to get in there, none of which you did. That's the real problem that I have. And you can't now look to them. I don't even feel that you can look to them for the return of the liability max that you agreed to, which is $320. That's the liability max you agreed to. But I don't even think you can look to them for that even, much less 3,000 something, 10 times that, because you didn't do what the contract calls for you to do. And I'm here to call the balls and the strikes. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't like the fact that they missed that, but you missed something too. And it's something that you agreed to do before I didn't sign this contract. I wouldn't sign this contract. You signed this contract. And this contract tells you what you need to do. You didn't do it. And my hands are tied by your contract, and my verdict is for the defendant.
Okay, if you make a contract with somebody and they don't do what they're supposed to do, I'm telling you, no matter what the contract is, notify that person immediately. The longer you wait, the more you compromise your rights.
Hi, this is Andy Katz, host of March Madness 365, presented by Grammarly. This week on the podcast, listen as we dive deep into the bracket as it stands and give our predictions moving forward. Listen to March Madness 365 with Andy Katz, presented by Grammarly, wherever you get your podcasts. Grammarly is a secure AI writing partner that gives your team an instant first draft in a few clicks, not a few hours. Companies that use Grammarly save an average of 19 days per employee per year. Grammarly works seamlessly across 500,000 apps and websites. Get personalized on-brand writing help everywhere your team works. Learn what better writing can do for your company at Grammarly.com. Grammarly, easier said, done.